Hey, Coach Patrick here, Endurance Nation, back with our Coach audio cast, video cast. You can check us out on YouTube/Endurance Nation. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Endurance Nation. You can find us on our podcast by Googling Endurance Nation Podcast. We're all over the medias. We're spreading the message. And the message this time of year is becoming a part of Endurance Nation. Join our waitlist. Our out-season program starts on October 31st. We'll give you early access if you're on that wait list. We've got a great, sort of program designed around winter endurance, regardless of your sport, that combines the return on investment training protocols that we have developed for many, many years with really functionally oriented strength training, nutrition guidance as well. It's a 14-week program designed to have you be your best when you exit it, no matter what your race may be. And it's the first step in the many different blocks we have as part of our Endurance Nation season roadmap, where we give you the blocks, we give you the training plans and the tools, we give you the teammates and the support, and you navigate your own way through. It's our anti-vanilla approach to endurance training. Instead of having someone who does everything for you and you just sit back and really you're a passenger on this jet, you need to be able to handle the controls on race day. You're going to be in charge, and we do that on a daily basis here inside Endurance Nation with 24/7 online team and coach support. So check us out at endurancestation.us. All right, awesome. So this week I'm talking to you about travel logistics, and nobody thinks about joining a triathlon team for travel logistics, but I have to say, some of the best conversations we have inside the Endurance Nation community is directly related to travel and travel logistics. At the end of the day, if you think about it, if you do 10 races that involve you to travel in your lifetime, like big races, right? Not local races, that's 10 trips. Well, maybe you get it right. Maybe you're crazy and you get it right from the outset, which is like total outlier. And if you're that kind of person, then just go away right now. I'm gonna get all angry on my podcast. Would you be in here? But the other part of it is it usually takes about 5 or 6 times for you to kind of get it right. And remember, there's time between these races. So often different things will happen or you'll forget about key elements. The net result is when you're on a team where there's 150 athletes who are training for a race that's a travel race this year, you get 150 pieces of data. Which is 15 times better than you had across your entire life. And it happens every year. And so the outset or the upside of that is really just having this great internal mechanism for learning and making travel your best. And of course, they also help you navigate things like, especially when we were dealing with the pandemic, what did you need to do for testing or what did you need to have in terms of vaccines? Similarly, what did airports require, travel time, all of those different pieces. So the team actually becomes really helpful in that regard. And I'm going to pass some of those lessons along to you. I would love to see you on the team, but no pressure. I'll give you some free advice here as well as we go. The goal here is to get you to your race, not only in one piece, but in a place where you're actually ready to have the best possible experience when you're there on the ground. There's nothing harder than being in a new space. It's kind of like going food shopping in a new supermarket. You have the same list. It's the same type of stores, the same name on the outside of the store, and you go in and the aisles are different and forget about it. Guaranteed it's going to take you twice as long to get that food shop done or pretty darn close to it, simply because you don't know where everything is and you've memorized where things are, not by the signs on the top of the aisles, because who reads those signs, but through your habits and developed over time. And so our goal here is to sort of like impart some of that to you as well so you can be successful. All right. So travel logistics. I hope you're ready. Get out that pen and pencil or go read it on the online website or in the YouTube channel comment section so you have it all. Number one, confirm all your travel and logistics. This means lodging, like call the place you're staying, follow up with your Airbnb host, make sure all of that's dialed in. What logistics do you need? Is there any special steps, codes, keys, exchanges, last minute deposits, security issues, local changes on the ground you need to know about? Go check that inbox, confirm it's all there. Same for your travel, like whether it's by air or sea or rail, make sure that's all dialed in as well. Confirm that you've got it. If you need to print it out, great. If you need to save a QR code to your phone, create a special album just for the trip, put it inside there or put it inside your wallet if your phone has a wallet feature to it, and confirm that as well. Go back and make sure you understand the limitations of luggage and travel, stipulations of things you need to bring, recommended time you want to be at the airport, all that stuff. Confirm all of that stuff, like super duper important. You want to get that dialed in, and it's oftentimes the last thing we're thinking about. I've got 2 workouts today. You're thinking, I got to get all this other stuff done. I have time to call that. Of course, the airplane's still going. Believe it or not, the way things are happening right now, sometimes the plane goes, sometimes the plane does not go. Sometimes it goes later, sometimes you get bumped. All these things are important to know, and you want to stay on top of it and track it for sure. Okay, so get all the lodging and travel stuff set aside. And if you're like a print it out and bring it with you person, now's the time to do it. Print it out, put it in a folder, save it so you can bring it with you as you travel. All right. Second item here for you, make your equipment and your event checklists. Checklists are phenomenal. Checklist is a great book called The Checklist Manifesto by Atul Gatwande, I think his name is, and talks about the value that checklists brought to increasing safety and health outcomes at hospitals. But checklists give people things to do and simple steps to follow, and they're more likely to do it if they can see it. Checklists become important for you as an athlete traveling to a new race is that you've got a bunch of things you need to bring from home that are specific to the race that you want to make sure are there when you get there. The best way to make sure something gets from home into the place you want to be is that you have a checklist. And as you move the item from table or drawer or bike or wherever to your luggage, you can check it off list because you know that you have it, right? And if you can go through and say, if all of these things are checked off, then all of these things are inside that bag. So you know you've gone through it and you've done it. Just as importantly, as you're going through that exercise of putting things on your list from an equipment perspective, you'll remember just through this process without having to like look at your stuff, things that you don't have or things that you wanted to have, or I wanted a backup battery, or I wanted an extra derailleur hanger, or I did want a spare pair of shoes, or I want a Ziploc bag for my orthotics, or whatever it is. You'll remember that now, and you can make those notes and make those changes. So even going through this checklist is the first of several steps you'll take to kind of go through and sort all of your stuff. That's going to allow you to be more successful from a travel and overall equipment experience perspective just by doing this, right? 100%, super important. The other side of that I mentioned earlier is the event side. What are all the things that are going to be happening on the venue that you need to know about? Like there's check-in, obviously you have to go to that. There's maybe a pre-race meeting. When is that? You want to know that's got to happen. Maybe there's something on the ground, like an event that you want to attend, a fun run or an experience or a bonfire or a wine tasting, or I have no idea what's happening there. A kids run, kids triathlon, right? All of that may be happening. Let's get that dialed in so we know for sure that you're not going to be in a bad space simply because you haven't paid attention to the logistics and you've been rushing around. Because when you have an event show up that you didn't anticipate, that changes everything else because that event may indeed be important to you. Since you didn't account for it, it means you've got to push and shove other things around. That just brings more friction into your travel experience, which we don't need. So build those equipment and event checklists. Make sure you have them right. Again, write them out ideally in order. The equipment you can batch by sport or by time of the race or whatever it may be. On the event side, probably more in a time related order for you across the course of the week or the time you're on the ground. Just after you do the equipment and the events checklist, head over to your calendar, dump all of the stuff in your calendar. Calendars are all online these days. You get them here on your laptop, but you also get them on your devices as well. And you can share events with other people. This is a great way to make sure that you don't lose track of anything. Even if you don't have your computer or can't remember something, if you put it in your calendar, you're going to get those reminders. Are going to pop up on your phone. You'll be able to log in from someone else's computer should you leave all forms of electronic devices and or chargers. Yikes. Put those on that checklist, please. Behind, then you may not be able to use your own sort of devices, but you'll always be able to access that calendar. And that's an opportunity for you to make sure that you're super safe. I personally love putting things in the calendar, sharing it with my family so they also know what's happening or that's important to me. And also in the event that, like, for example, I can't get to check into the hotel or to the place where we're staying. But if all that information is in our shared calendar, then any one of my family who has a phone can also see that same information and accomplish that goal without having me to stop what I'm doing to get there or not do what I wanted to do and have to go there and do it myself because it's all shared in that same space. So don't underestimate the power of that calendar. I also use completely unsolicited piece, but I use a piece of software called TripIt. Maybe it's owned by Google now. I don't remember. But TripIt allows you to forward all of your related reservations and everything to a single place. It'll organize it. You can even assign like travel partners and share details of some or all trips with people as well. It'll organize it for them too. So if you are traveling with other people, they can all dump their own reservations and information into their respective areas. And then you'll be able to see it all in one sequential, synchronous setup as you sort of navigate your trip and you're all connected together, right? Super easy. Fourth part here for you, solve for the fans. If you want to have a great trip, you got to make sure that your friends and family or the people who are coming with you have a good time as well. It's not really hard to generally find things for people to do. Sometimes it can be. My family's a little, picky these days about stuff that they want to do. But if you wait until the last minute, guaranteed, it's not going to be good. Just like if you wait until the last minute to pick a restaurant to eat at, maybe you'll luck out, but odds are not going to be so great. It's going to be what you see, and you're going to go there and then just deal with it, right? And so take the time now, early on, to plan ahead and see what your options are. Maybe, there's a lake to swim in, there's like a town beach, there's rock climbing, there's a hike you can take, there's a attraction or something in the next town over. Whatever those things may be, let's kind of make a list of those, and even just kind of talk about it with your family or your friends who are traveling with you, just so they're aware, because they may not care now, a week out or 10 days out, but the day before, they'll be like, hey, didn't you say something about whatever that cool thing was? They'll be that further ahead because you have talked about it. And if you have those items with you, or resources, or an email you sent out, all the better, that again, your friends and family can be a little more directive and in charge of what they want to do, maybe make a choice. Then you can also hopefully work that into your schedule, so you can not only be on track for your race because you've got this great checklist and your timing and all is great, but you also understand what it is you're getting into. If someone says, hey, get in the car, we're going to go have some fun, and you're like, but I've got to check in sometime today. And they're like, who knows, adventure, let's go. And they roll down the windows and, screeching out of the parking lot. Probably not going to get back in time for that check-in piece. And you're definitely going to be anxious the whole time, even if it is an awesome trip, like tubing down a river. We don't have to have that if we sort of plan a little bit ahead. Of course, maybe your friends and family are super self-sufficient. They'll do it all themselves. But it never hurts just to be considerate either way, right? Okay. And then the last piece that I want to talk to you about here, which I think is the most important part of race week, and travel in general, or travel to your race venue, is just getting your Zen on. Now, I don't know what Zen means to you, and I don't know how you get to that Zen happy space for yourself, but you do. And that's an element of what you want to bring with you as you travel. There's going to be a lot of things out of your control, things that you can't do. You can't bring the plane, can't fix the plane, can't turn the plane around, can't change the food on the plane, um, can't find your bags magically, can't wake up the host who's disappeared or turn on their phone. So lots of things will happen and go crazy when you're traveling. So what makes you Zen? Is it reading? Is it music? Is it podcasts? Is it meditation? Whatever those elements may be, let's get those dialed in, right? Let's make sure that you're in a good place, so that you have that as a resource for you, so you can be in that chill space. Because being anxious about things that you can control doesn't help you make good decisions about the things that you are in control of, right? So we want to be zen and relaxed, because at the end of the day, you've done all the work. All we have to do is get here and get set up at a race. You've got time to do it. It's not like you're traveling 3 hours before the race itself. And the more calm you can be, the better off you'll be. As we like to say inside Endurance Nation, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And more than anything else, when we think about traveling to a race, that mentality applies to you, your mood, your personality, and your state of mind. So do what it takes to get in that happy place, and guaranteed, no matter what happens, even if you don't remember your checklist or you did forget something, you'll be in a position, mentally and from a stability standpoint, to figure out a solution that works and still have a great race. All right, folks. I hope this was helpful. Coach Patrick from Endurance Nation, signing off with our top 5 endurance travel logistics tips to your next endurance race. I hope it was helpful for you. If you want to learn more about us, go to endurancestation.us. Check us out. As a reminder, October 31st, we kick off our out season, start our winter training program of 14 weeks to get you ready for whatever adventure you may choose for 2023. Don't miss out. Hit us up at endurancestation.us /wait list. See you guys.